The first step is that we're going to cut out our template. You can see I've pre-cut this one because no stuntman was available in case I cut my hand off. That's our template right there. The next step is take your balsa wood, long sheet of your thick balsa, and we're going to want to make that the exact same width as our vessel's hull. Best way to do that is take one of the templates and just measure it off. Make points like that. Now take your steel ruler and put the dots together so it's the same width and cut it off. Once you get the sized balsa in hand, we're going to take and we're going to mark off the curve of our stern. I'm using a thick pen here, just a thick flare pen, because we don't care if the marks show up, and want to be able to see them quite well in this video, so it helps to use a thick pen. Don't mark just one, mark a whole bunch, probably about 8 or 9. I usually do a few extra marks just in case I screw one up along the way, and just keep marking them one after another right down inside one another. And you'll see in a little while why this technique works pretty well. Next, we've got them all drawn out. And now what we're going to do is we're going to cut those babies out. And we come up with these nice little angelfish shaped curves. And that is what we're going to use to give us the shape of our stern. Stack them up. They should be exactly the right height of space you want to take up. And use your finger and give yourself a little stern curve like this. Works out pretty well. Just make sure they're all aligned and ready to go. Now, there's going to be one issue. The motor. There's a bump in the motor, and this is going to be flush against it. Doesn't work. So we're going to have to do a little cutting here. Now, set it in place, and make sure you're right up against the sides and right up against that stern where the engine block is. Now, we're going to do some cutting. This is the best way to do it. Line it up like you want it here. There it is from the outside. Take your pen or your pencil and mark it off. I probably should have used a pen here. You'd see it better. And this is what it looks like when it's cut. Notice we cut the wings away just because they can turn into a pain in the butt later on. Now, I'm going to place this over that, and we're going to see how the engine fits in there just right. Put it right up against, not the engine block, but against the engine itself. And you'll see how it fits. Ta-da! Now, next, we still have a little space to take up. So we're going to have to cut a second one of these in order to make it fit perfectly, but the cut can be just a little bit different. You can make it exactly the same if you want, but this is a good shape for me. I used exactly the same just for simplicity. Make sure you cut off the little legs. Now that's the way it looks stacked, and you can see now we've got flush against the engine. We made ourselves a little engine room. Isn't that neat? And here they are fully stacked. Notice they're not glued yet. They're just fully stacked. This is why we use that, so that you can flip it over and put it against your drawing to make sure you have the right length, so you're not too long to be out of scale. Match it up with the drawing, and voila. Now, Once you've got it stacked, take your thick pen and draw around each curve. Just the end of the curve will work, because you want to be able to space them later. Now let's start gluing. I use a little glue on my fingertip just because it's more precise than using the bottle. And you see here, you just put a little bead all the way around. When it's quiet, that's when I'm in parentheses. But you know that already. And now, take those little wings, put a little bit of glue on each outer edge. That's going to give us a little reinforcement when we set this puppy in place. And fit it in place. And there you go. We've set the first one of the stack in place, and now we have ourselves a little bit of engine room. Next, we're going to weigh it down. You could pin it if you want. I prefer to just weigh it down and not hassle with the pins. Take a little piece of scrap wood, and any excess glue that's in that little area right there, remove it. And now we go about gluing the next piece in. Once again, we set it in place like we did the first one. And there you have it. You want to flip it over and make sure that you're right on the mark, so you get the right amount of curve. And when it's just about fully stacked, it should look like this. Now, the last piece that you cut didn't have a little loop in it, and that's because that's your deck. You don't want to do anything with that one yet. Now we'll take the whole stack, we'll weight it down, and as I like to say, allow to dry. And it comes out like this. Now in the next video, I'm going to show you how we're going to sand that all in place, make it look good. For now, that's it.